a way that you can pay your kids. If any of these door-to-door knockers have children, you can add your kids to payroll, which is really cool.
You just set that up like I use like Every, and it's just a payroll software. So I just add them to my Every and just pay into them, and then.
So you definitely need documentation for it. So if you're paying kids under 14, you have to have a different consent form that has to be signed. And you do want to keep track of like, what are they actually doing in the business? But for example, for really young kids, you can call them models in your business if you post about them like on social media or your website. You're just paying them for use of their photos.
So let's talk about just some of your 2 cents for, I make 100 grand this year. I'm out selling, finally came into some money. What are some tax tips you tell your clients? Like, what are some things they need to be looking for?
Yeah, I would say if you know or you have made 40,000 at least in 1099 income, make sure you have your LLC, because not just for protection and all of that lawyery stuff, but once you have your LLC, you can then switch to an S Corp. And an S Corp just on 40,000 of income will save you 6 grand in taxes. If you made 100 grand, like your example, you'll save $15,000 in taxes if you elect to be an S Corp. So that's like
the button I was just talking about.
Yeah.
15 grand.
I knew you, I was following your logic there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to have an LLC first. So just have it in your back pocket. So that way, when you're ready to switch to an S Corp, you can do that. That's like number one. Because when people owe on their tax returns, it's usually from self-employment tax. And that's where the S Corp will come in handy. So S Corp, I would say keep track of all of your deductions, right? If you're driving around, you should be writing off your vehicle. You can write off gas, repairs, if you get your car detailed.
What tools do you use to keep track? Like, do you have any specific tools that you're like, I like this app, that thing, to keep track of expenses and deductions?
Yeah, QuickBooks Online is great. You just link your credit card and your bank account to it. Make sure you have a business bank account, business credit card, link it up to there. It puts every transaction in there. So you just have to go in and tell it what it is. So this is a car expense. This is a meals expense, blah, blah, blah. But QuickBooks Online is great because then at the end of the year, it'll show total income, 100,000, and then all of your deductions.
Here's what's interesting too. I wish I would have done that sooner. I put my head in the sand when it comes, like I was always invest and make more money. Those are my strategies.
Yeah. It
wasn't track and understand what that money is and where it is and where it's going. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the reporting and the feedback and the levers that tell me what's going on. And so what ended up happening was I went a year, 2, then 3 years into business, living the same motto that I lived as a sales rep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And had I done this whole, like when you get into business, QuickBooks is like kind of a staple. Like you're going to get QuickBooks, you're going to have accounting, you're going to have that kind of stuff. So if I'm a sales rep right now, and the advice I would give you, or a manager, an owner, you never know. Like you think you'll live or die, but maybe one day you end up starting your own business. So like you might be drinking the Kool-Aid where you're at today, and tomorrow you're running your own business. So it's like if you treated yourself like a true 1099 as a sales rep or a manager that you're working there, why not set up your own QuickBooks account and actually start looking at profit and losses, deductions, expense reports, balance sheets, and starting to actually educate yourself by using the apps that you need to today, so that if you ever did run a business, it's such an easier transition. Because it took me 3 years to kind of wake up and be like, oh crap. And it wasn't until I got audited through the divorce that it was like, hey, I need to actually look at what your business is worth. And I had a business evaluation done. And I was like, oh, that's going to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, and it ended up, now today I can kind of confidently say like, okay, I know where the things are at, but it wasn't for a few years though. I mean, anyway, so that's my 2 cents on that. So keep going. So other things that you what deductions could they keep track of that are important?
Yeah, all their vehicle ones. Take a home office deduction if you do any sort of work in your home office. So, are you following up with clients? Are you making sales calls? Any of that? Take your home office deductions. There is a way that you can pay your kids. If any of these door-to-door knockers have children, you can add your kids to payroll, which is really cool.
You just set that up like I use like Every, and it's just a payroll software. So I just add them to my Every and just pay into them, and then.
So you definitely need documentation for it. So if you're paying kids under 14, you have to have a different consent form that has to be signed. And you do want to keep track of like, what are they actually doing in the business? But for example, for really young kids, you can call them models in your business if you post about them like on social media or your website. You're just paying them for use of their photos. So then you would need a modeling contract, employment contract, all of that. So yes, you can, you just add them to payroll, but keep the documentation in case, like you said, you're audited. But you can pay them up to $12,950 each per year. So it's a big business deduction in your business. It's tax-free to the kids. There's anytime you go out to eat, you can probably relate that somehow to business. So are you talking to a client, to a prospective client? Could they ever be a client? Could this person refer someone to you? Like really anytime you go out to eat could be a business expense. There is the Augusta Rule. That's a really cool deduction where your business can pay yourself rent, and it creates a big rent expense on your business, and it's tax-free to you personally. So that's a really cool one. Again, you want to document it, like why are you renting to yourself, have a lease agreement, have invoices, all of that, but you can get out like tens of thousands of dollars from your business.
Oh, so even if I signed a lease, so I'm paying rent on an office space.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Taggart signed the lease, so then I'm double dipping. Like, is it coming out twice essentially? Because rent, D2D experts would pay Sam Taggart $2,000 a month. Sam Taggart would then pay the landlord $2,000 a month. Like, how does that work?
No, so different than an office space, your business is going to pay you personally for use of your personal house in your business. So,
okay. So like, office, yeah, home office. Rent.
No, different. So you have home office deductions. That's cool. That's fine. People usually get like $5,000 of deductions doing it that way. The Augusta Rule, you can say, I need to have a board meeting, because you have to have board meetings if you're an S Corp. If I went to the W Hotel, how much would it cost to have a board meeting there? Typically, it's at least $1,500. Plus, you have to have their minimum catering fee, another $1,500, plus $600 a night to stay there. Plus, how am I going to get there? So transportation to and from, say the total's $5,000 each time you need a board meeting. Well, you can say, I'm going to have that board meeting at my house and charge my business $5,000 each time. You can do that up to 14 times a year. So whatever that is, $80,000 out of your business. It's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, can I just set that up on auto pay?
Yeah. Yep. Just make sure you have the lease agreement. So why is your business renting to you personally? When you transfer the money from your business to personal, make sure it's called rent expense. And then write down what your board meeting was for. So are you planning out the next quarter? Is it to plan out your next hires? Is it to plan out the next D2D con? You know, have a business meeting like reason.
Love that.
Yeah.
Once a month, you could have your own little like retreat with your key executives.
Yep. It's awesome.
I'm doing that today. I actually have a meeting. I have a board meeting today. Why don't we say we're going to do it at my house?
Yeah.
Done.
There you go.
I just saved. I mean, think about that, guys. If you're listening to this and you charge $80,000 a year to your business, and I'm in a 40% tax bracket, I just saved $30,000-$40,000 I was going to give the government by just setting up. God, like, I don't think you just got this. Like, what she just taught you, if you go implement, is a $40,000 for 15 minutes of your time setting up the documentation, setting up the auto transfer from one account to another account, and you just saved $30,000. Like, yeah. Thank you. I just wrote it down. Done.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. We do, like, we have literally hundreds of these loopholes. They're awesome.
I love this. So if someone wants to reach out to you and hear about these loopholes, because, you know, it's like for me, if somebody's like, oh, I do my own taxes. I'm like, you're an idiot because you just didn't know about the Augusta Rule, you dummy.
Yeah.
So I would rather pay somebody $5,000, $2,000, $1,000, whatever you charge, to save $40,000 in 15 minutes, like you just did. I'll send me an invoice because that was the best advice. No, so how do they reach out to you? How do they find more?
Yeah, so Your Tax Coach on Instagram. We're there all day, like drop in tax tips and tricks. So just send us a DM, or you can email me, Barbara@yourtaxcoach.biz, B-I-Z. And yeah, we have tax prep. We do tax strategy services. We have a course. It's so awesome. It's called Write Off Your Life. It will teach you literally how to write off your entire life in your business and save you tens of thousands in taxes. So reach out to us there.
Is that on the website?
The course. So we open and close the course. It's closed right now, but you can get on the wait list. And I think we're relaunching it at the end of March.
Cool. And the website again was what?
Yourtaxcoach.biz.
Well, that's cool. Guys, go check her out. Go follow them. She's got an awesome badass boss bitch team. Like, they're freaking fire. And I got to meet all of her team. And they came, like I said, you guys came to DoorCon. We were at a different conference together. You guys hosted a cool Super Bowl thing. I hope that went well. Like, doing some cool stuff. So proud of you guys.